on innovation in psychology, education and didactics. On short, Iciped. This year, the conference takes place in the context of celebrating 100 years from Romania's Great Union. The second edition of conference appears from the need to bring together experts, teachers from university and pre-university education, members of local educational community, and representatives of civil society organizations. First of all, I would like to invite the Vice Mayor of Bacău, Mr. Ștefan Dragoș, who supports the importance of the partnership between the university and the local community.
Stimați invitați, ce pot să vă spun? Sunt onorat să fiu astăzi în mijlocul dumneavoastră. Mă bucur că un astfel de eveniment are loc aici, la Universitatea Vasile Alexandrin. În calitate de viceprimar, vreau să vă asigur de tot sprijinul Primăriei Bacău în toate proiectele pe care le veți derula. Am fost și vom fi un partener al mediului educațional. Am sprijinit întotdeauna proiectele educaționale, pentru că este firesc să sprijinim educația, pentru că fără educație nu putem merge înainte. Este unul din stâlpii societății noastre și vă asigur de tot suportul meu în calitate de viceprimar și Primăria Bacău va fi în continuare un partener. Vreau să vă spun câteva lucruri, în special studenților, pentru că noi, cei din administrația locală, va trebui în perioada următoare să găsim soluții ca studenții, ca tinerii să rămână în orașul nostru. Stăteam de vorbă acum câtva timp cu un important om de afaceri din Bacău și îmi spunea: Dragoș, noi suntem dispuși să oferim locuri de muncă. Voi trebuie să găsiți soluții ca tinerii să rămână în Bacău. Și aștept din partea dumneavoastră să veniți lângă noi, pentru că noi, politicienii, trebuie să fim înconjurați de tineri. Dar nu numai în campaniile electorale, și atunci când avem nevoie de dumneavoastră la anumite activități, ci în permanență, pentru că avem de învățat de la dumneavoastră. Și vă aștept în perioada următoare, și invit și pe doamna conferențiar, să veniți lângă noi, să ne dați soluții, pentru ca noi să putem să facem lucruri și obiective ca dumneavoastră să rămâneți în Bacău.
And now we invite you to listen to the message of the university representative, which will be exposed by the Vice Rector for National and International Relations, Professor Elena Nikita.
Hello and welcome everyone. I will say a few words in English on behalf of our Board of Administration, and we welcome our distinguished guests from Turkey, from Kazakhstan, Philippines, UK, Republic of Moldova, and of course our dear colleagues from Romania and local community. So it's quite a big event. We see your progress on the first edition, and I hope you will have a prosperous meeting. We have some beautiful autumn days, and I hope that our university will find us a good host.
Bine ați venit la Bacău, bine ați venit la Universitatea Vasile Alexandrin din Bacău. Vă doresc și vă dorim ca în aceste 2 zile cât durează conferința să vă găsiți Bacăul în sensul bun al cuvântului. Nu toate universitățile și nu toate orașele din țară au privilegiul de a-și găsi locul într-o expresie idiomatică. Bacăul, după cum bine știți unii dintre dumneavoastră, dacă nu aflăm acum, pentru că este și pentru inovare, pentru educație, pentru mai multe, această conferință își găsește locul în expresia "ați găsi Bacăul", care are 2 accepții. Una mai diferită decât alta. Prima nu prea ne place așa, pentru că ați găsi Bacăul însemna ați găsi Călăul. Însă există și o a doua explicație și pe aceasta îmi doresc să o găsiți și să vă poată oferi această conferință, în care cuvântul Bacău însemna o paiță, adică lumină. Astfel încât sper că în aceste 2 zile de ședere plăcută la Bacău, organizatorii, să știți, au aranjat și cu vremea, este o toamnă superbă. Am înțeles că mâine lucrările conferinței Bogdana, așa încât sper să vă găsiți lumina și sunt convinsă că în acest an al patrimoniului, în acest an al centenarului, pentru noi, poate la sfârșitul conferinței acesteia, multe dintre problemele cu care educația se confruntă la modul general, pentru că este o conferință internațională, își vor fi găsit, măcar teoretic, rezolvarea.
We want to continue the second edition of the conference with a new episode of the action film titled Iciped. If you remember, the last year it was the second episode, and it was very success episode. And this year the actors of the second episode are following: Professor Dr. Nuri Baltă from University of International Business from Almaty, Kazakhstan. Associate Professor PhD Mehmet Shahin from Necmettin Erbakan University from Turkey. Denis Relojo, which represents the International Society of Psychology, Counseling and Education. Dr. Mihaela Cojocaru from Association for Education and Training. Professor Răzvan Lucian Andronic from Spiru Haret, come here. And me and Professor Venera Mihaela Cojocaru from Vasile Alexandrin. Thank you much. We want to mention that the students from the Pedagogy of Primary and Preschool Education, as well as the master students from the program Innovative Strategies in Education, and the graduates of the two programs are attending this important event. They are
many
behind you. Okay, and we want to thank you for the full support and to bring you together at all the events we intend to organize in the future. Thank you much, dear students. The main theme of Iciped conference this year is the current context of teacher education. Today we have three interesting presentations. In the first presentation, Associate Professor Mehmet Shahin will present us the importance of transformative learning and critical thinking.
There are the professors see students, correct?
Correct.
Salut! Romana atâtă. My presentation is ready. Dear professors and very dear students, for me, the presence of students at such a conference is very important, because without students, professors are, let's say, nothing. Students are important. And nowadays, you know, the approach to teaching and learning very popular is student-centered approach. And the paradigm in the last years was teacher-centered, and it shifted from student to student-centered approach. But in reality, I don't know it is really student-centered or not. Maybe in the future, it will be a shift, real shift, from student-centered, and it will be student-centered. And today I am going to speak. You know, professors like to speak very much, especially when they see such people ready to listen. And my presentation is about critical thinking and transformational learning. I have been teaching educational sciences at Necmettin Erbakan University in Konya, Turkey. And at undergraduate level, I teach educational philosophy, teaching and learning theories. And at master's degree, I teach educational philosophy in curriculum development and adult education. And at doctorate level, I teach critical thinking in curriculum and postmodern curriculum. In the past years, I was mainly interested in international projects because, you know, for professors, money is important too. So I completed 3 international projects, and one of the partners was your Asaki Technical University of Yash, correct? Okay. So maybe in the future there will be some projects with your university too. As far as I see, there are very, let's say, willing and eager professors for such international research and projects, and it is good. You know, this faculty is pedagogy, and all the people here, as far as I see, are not children, they are adults. Pedagogy, as you know, etymologically goes back to the Greek tradition, and it is the combination of pedi and goji, and pedi is child, you know. Goji becomes coach in English, and hoca in Persian and Turkish, but in fact, goji, I mean teacher, means slave in ancient Greek, because you know, in the aristocratic families, there were slaves who helped to take children to education. So these slaves were called pedagogues. So originally, pedagogues, in other ways, teachers, are historically slaves in Greek, in ancient Greek. But nowadays, you know, lifelong learning is a very popular term, especially with the programs designed and planned by the European Union. And this lifelong learning covers pedagogy plus andragogy. And andragogy is related with all of us directly now, and the governments do not spend much money or little money or no money on andragogy. They spend all money on children, on pedagogy. I think they think that, okay, adults are okay. They learned everything and they are finished and they are excellent and perfect. No. Adults can learn. Adults can be educated too. But the problem is, adults can learn in the way as children learn. There must be some difference because we are all adults, and clever, let's say smart or good governments started to spend some money on adult education nowadays, and it is very, very promising for us. And some projects, I mean international projects, focus on adult education because adults have become one of the most important problems in many countries. Maybe in the future, all the governments will spend more money on adults because adults can learn too. Not only children, but here, you know, the main problem is for the governments, strategic. Why strategic? Because they can transform children into any form they want. But can they transform adults into the desired form? No. Adults can learn in different ways, and they are self-directed. They are not obedient. They cannot be formed in the way as somebody else wants. So I think the governments strategically do not want to spend money on adult learning or adult education, because adults are problems for them, and they need children to be molded, to be melted into the desired forms. And the problem is, the education system is designed for children. As you see, the children comes this way, and they, let's say, input, then process, and you see the output. And this is a kind of fabrication. Output, I mean the products are different or the same. The same products, because they are processed in the same educational system, and they are formed and transformed into the desired forms and modules. So, if the government wants citizens like this and this, they use educational system, and educational system use curriculum. And in this way, we can say that curriculum is the key for an educational system. And you see, the same thing. A professor is there, like machining, and they are filling the brains of students, and students have the same information, same knowledge, and do you think they will think in the same way? Their thinking ways will be different or the same? The expectation is that they must think in the same way, not differently or individually. And you see, we think that only human beings can think. Do you think animals cannot think, or plants? Have you ever thought about this? Only human beings can think, if they can. I'm not sure. Maybe there are other creatures. Maybe trees can think too. And imagine a tree 200 years old or 500 years old, full of experience, and witnessed many events, good or bad. And we don't know if that tree can think. If it can, it will be very different, because it will be a product of so long time experience. And in the education system, what we expect is, okay, first, think. We must teach or encourage first thinking. And thinking will bring what? Change. Do you think the governments want change and they like change? No. So, thinking is forbidden. Thinking is not a primary step in the educational system. So, philosophy related with thinking is not a lesson in many countries. And change after change, there will be growth of the individual or the person. And thinking man, but very deeply. How many of us think like this? We don't know. But sometimes, when you feel lonely or walk in the forest alone, you think deeply. So, do you think we can think deeply in the crowded places? No. Everyone thinks. Everyone else thinks. But it is our nature to think. But so much of our thinking is biased, full of prejudice, full of previous patterns. And the quality of our life and what we produce depends on the quality of our thinking. Even our children are the products of our thinking quality. Do you think so? So thinking is very important, but there is a joke, very famous, in Turkey, Nasreddin Hoca, Coach. Nasreddin Hoca is a very wise man, and many jokes are produced with his name. One day, he went to bazaar, and one man was selling parrots. Parrot. And Hoca asked the price of that parrot, and that man said a very high price. For example, 100 euro. And Hoca said, why is it so high? Because, chickens are here, only 1 euro, and your parrot is 100 euro. Why so? Because, the man said, my parrot can speak. And next day, next bazaar, Hoca carried his turkey to the bazaar. By the way, Turkey is different from my country, Turkey. Originally not different. Because when the Ottoman Empire took that word from India, we call it, because of this Hindi, they called it, the Europeans called it the bird of Turkey. Then the bird of went away and Turkey remained. And Hoca carried his turkey to the bazaar, and he said, the price is 1,000 euro. The man selling the parrot asked, why so high? Because he is thinking. But thinking is important. Thinking has a value. No, because first we eat the thinking ones. Thinking is dangerous. Do you think? Dangerous. So we eat. I don't know how. And thinking is an umbrella. Under thinking umbrella, we have analytical thinking, critical thinking, creative thinking, logical thinking, and reflective thinking. There are many types. And today, related with the adult learning and adult education, I am going to speak about critical thinking in relation to transformational learning. Okay, every student must say, okay, professor, I am not a parrot. Because, I am a professor, and intrinsically, or maybe genetically, I am, let's say, seeing sometimes students like parrots. Please repeat what I said. No, I didn't say this to you. Please say it in the way I said to you. So, we think sometimes students are parrots just imitating teachers. Not professors. What about parents? Do you think parents like or want their children to think differently or different from their way of thinking? And very complicated thing. critical thinking especially. Thinking is very complicated, and critical thinking is more and more complicated. I will skip some of this. And from the critical thinking point of view, history lessons are generally regarded as negative approach, because they say if you think based on the history lessons, you cannot think differently. And so history lessons are very important for some, let's say, countries' educational systems, because it is related with thinking ways.
It is a honor to be here and to talk in the Vasily Alexander University of Bacău. It's an opportunity for me to interact with Romanian culture, Romanian researchers and students. So far as I observed, the hospitality, the feelings I get in Romania are very exciting. So thanks to Liliana that she invited me from Kazakhstan to Romania. So I want to first present the content of my talk. I'm going to start with teachers in education, then I'm going to define the professional development. I'm going to express the effective characteristics of professional development programs, and then I'm going to present you a new method of teacher training, a new model for professional development. And then I'm going to also show you an innovative way of designing an experimental design in professional development research. So then I'm going to find a link between professional development and student achievement. So I'm going to present some results from the international surveys and some feature research. And at the end, I am going to apply a quick survey, about 5 minutes. The aim of this survey is going to take your ideas, views about professional development, as well as I want to introduce you an online assessment tool known as Socratic. Socratic is a very useful assessment tool that you can use in classes for assessing students immediately. Okay, so in order to not to lose time, I'm going to continue with my presentation. So who are the teachers? Okay. First, we need to define the teachers, who they are. Okay, the research results shows that schools can make difference. We can improve the schools. We can improve the quality of education. And the biggest part of the difference that can make any progress in the educational system of a country or of a school is related to the teachers. This is the research results. Second, a lot of countries are doing some reforms about their educational system, but few of them are successful. Well, because they are not taking teachers in the center of reforms. Okay? And also, the single most important factor in the student's achievement or failure is his/her teacher. These are all research results. And UNESCO defines the teachers the best. An educational system is only good as their teachers. If your teachers are good, your educational system is good, okay? That's why we need to prepare our teachers. We need to organize professional development programs for our teachers. Okay, in the past it was discussed that teachers can be replaced with the computers, radio, TV. About 30 years before, okay, it was discussed a lot that teachers may be replaced with the technology. But so far, as we see, it is almost impossible to replace teachers with the technology. Okay, what's a professional development? A professional development, any activities that we design, that we prepare for teachers, and the activities which are increasing teachers' knowledge, practices, skills, and so on. So the professional development programs appear in different formats. They are sometimes coaching, sometimes they are just like seminars, conferences, workshops, mentoring, lesson study. Maybe you have heard about Japanese lesson study, and also maybe you have heard about Russian open lesson. At Kriti Urok, maybe you have heard about the Russian professional development program. Today I'm also going to present my own professional development program, my own professional development model for you. Okay. I'm going to skip this one. So, how does professional development work? Now, we design some professional development programs for teachers. And then teachers gain some knowledge and skills from this professional development program. Then this affects teachers' classroom teaching. And then finally it affects students' learning. Okay, as you see, it seems it's a long journey from professional development to the student achievement. So the ultimate goal of a professional development program must be students' achievement. Otherwise, why we are designing professional development programs for teachers? Okay. Yes, every teacher needs professional development. It is not because teachers are not very well. It is because they can become better. Okay? So, when teachers learn, students learn. When students learn, the quality of the school increases, quality of the education system of a country increases. That's why, in any case, we need to increase the quality of our teachers. Okay? Do teachers really need professional development programs? Yes, they need. Why? Because curriculum changes, isn't it? In Turkey, as far as I remember, it changes periodically at about 5 years. In Romania, I don't know what, the curriculum is always changing. It must change, okay? And in order to cope with the curriculum changes, we need professional development programs. New textbooks, okay, appear every year. That's why we need professional development programs. New examination and assessment requirements. Okay? That's why we need. And also new techniques, methods, and approaches to learning, to teaching. Isn't it? So if you are reading, if you are familiar with the literature, you can see always new approaches, methods, and techniques of teaching and learning. So new technologies are always appearing. So we are living in a technological era. That's why teachers, you and also we are teachers, we need professional development programs always. Okay, but, so as you see, we need professional development programs. But designing a professional development program is really, really difficult. You need to arrange, you need to plan many things when you are going to organize a professional development program. When teachers are going to meet, what kind of teachers are going to participate in, what will be the content of the professional development program, and is it possible or is it easy to find teachers and so on. It's really to design professional development programs. So I want to introduce you some effective characteristics of professional development program. In the future, if you are going to participate in or if you are going to organize a professional development program, please be careful about these characteristics. Why? Because research shows that if the professional development program do not have, if they do not have such characteristics, they are not effective. So these are from the literature. Any professional development program must be content focused. What do I mean by content focused? Sorry. By content focused, what teachers are going to learn, or what teachers are going to discuss, what teachers are going to actively learn in the professional development program must be the similar what they are going to present to their students in the classroom. Isn't it? Why? Because the ultimate goal of the professional development program is to increase students' outcomes. So, the content of the program must be similar to what teachers are teaching at their classes. And second, active learning. Just sitting and listening, it is not enough for teachers to learn something from the professional development programs. They must be active. If this is a professional development program, for example, for geography teachers, I think they must go for a field trip. They must do some observations and so on. If it is for science teachers, they must do some experiments, they must solve some problems, they must do a lot of discussions. That's why teachers must be active in professional development programs. Long duration is very important. With only one PD, we cannot increase teachers' quality. Professional development programs less than 14 hours are not effective. This is the result of the research. Less than 14 hours are not effective in increasing teachers' quality. That's why we need to organize long duration PD programs. And also, long duration itself is not enough. You can organize a program at the beginning of the year and you can organize one at the end of the year. Okay, this is a long duration program, but it's not going to be effective. It must be intensive and sustained. It must be every week, or maybe every week is a little bit more, but it may be every month, every 2 weeks, and so on. So it must be intensive so that we can increase teachers' quality. Collective participation is also very important. If you are going to increase the quality of your school, all teachers in the school must participate in it. If you are going to increase the quality of English teachers, so the professional development program must be designed only for English teachers. That's why collective participation is important. It must be delivered in conductive setting. Attracting teachers, inviting teachers, or finding teachers is not so easy. They don't want usually to participate in. That's why we need to prepare, we need to organize, plan our program so that it is conducted. The time of the program must be easy for teachers to participate, to come. The place of meeting must be well organized also. The technology and the other things all the equipment must be supplied in order for a conductive setting professional development program. And just-in-time teaching. You know, this is very important. Just-in-time teaching. And many programs are designed at the holidays, in the holidays and during the summer and so on. But teachers are going to teach after several months. Okay? So usually what we teach, what we present, what teachers are observing, okay, they gain some skills. But usually they forget, most of them, when they go to their classes. We need to do just-in-time teaching professional development programs for them to be effective. We need to teach teachers, we need to work with teachers, and then teachers must go to their classes and present what they have learned in the PD programs.
Then they are going to participate in the professional development program. Then they are going to teach their post-teaching in their post-teaching classes. And these two classes are equivalent, they are equivalent, and they are equivalent. You can apply pre-test here, you can apply post-test here, and then you can compare pre-post tests of this teacher, pre-post tests of this teacher, and so on. Then we can see the effectiveness of the professional development program. So, but there's a problem in this design. We need to solve this problem. The problem is teachers' practices and knowledge in pre-teaching may interfere with their post-teaching. It may, any increase in teacher quality or any increase student achievement may be because of the pre-teaching. Why? Because they are going to teach in one of the classes, then they are going to teach in the other class, and then it may be because of the pre-teaching. So, to eliminate the possible effect of pre-teaching, we form the placebo group. In this group, you can have 2, 3, 4, 5 teachers in this group. It depends on you. Also here, it depends on you. You can have a lot of teachers. Here, each teacher also have 2 classes. But teachers first teach to these 2 classes, then they are teaching their other equivalent class without participating in the PD program. Is there a link between professional development program and student achievement? Yes, in order to find a relation, or in order to show a relation between PD and student achievement, I'm going to show you the results of several meta-analyses. But I am going to compare these meta-analyses by looking at effect sizes. First, I need to remind you what is effect size. Okay? So, if you have 2 groups, you have the mean of the experimental group, then you have the mean of the control group, and then you have the standard deviation of the pooled control and experimental groups, then you can calculate the effect size. So effect size is a numerical value which shows the effectiveness of your PD program. This is the simple definition for the effect size. We have many types of effect sizes.